have been looking forward to this dish, or preparing this dish, all month. It is something that I've only done on Christmas. It's my Christmas pudding made with apple cider syrup. And basically, what it is a French toast strata. It's an overnight recipe. I'm doing this a little bit ahead of the game just because I think it's going to give the bread just that much more time to soak up all the beautiful flavors. So it's a bit of a process, but not too bad at all. This is something that is easy to. It makes a large portion, and it's easy to reheat. So give it a go if you're keen on some Christmas pudding. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here with the apple cider syrup. So I love this syrup so much, and especially when you get the big vat of apple cider around the holidays, I get that, and we enjoy sipping on it, warming it up with a little bit of cinnamon. Um, but I do also like making this apple cider syrup. It goes amazing on pancakes, waffles, crepes, oh, you name it. It's just a nice drizzle. So what I've done this year is I'm doubling the recipe, and I'm just going to reserve half of it for later. The nice thing about the syrup too is it freezes really well. Let's see, 2 years ago I froze it in half-cup portions in a muffin tin, and that was kind of nice to be able to enjoy those flavors after the holidays were over, because I would be eating like anything that they serve from Thanksgiving through Christmas. The spices, the seasonings, the flavors, I would eat that all year long if I could. But it's also a nice thing to look forward to during the holidays. But thank you for joining me this afternoon. What I have in here already is a cup of sugar, 8 teaspoons of cornstarch, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So we're just going to mix this business together. Mix it really well. And then we're going to be adding 2 cups of apple cider. You don't want it to be the fizzy kind, no alcohol. You could do that, I imagine, but it might not set up the same actually. I'm not sure how that will interact with the cornstarch. You can also substitute apple juice if that's what you have on hand, but certainly the flavors with the apple cider is out of this world. Okay, and you do want to do a couple of things in advance when you're making this pudding. Actually melted the butter already that will go into the pudding. You want to bring out your ingredients in advance, get them to room temp, squeeze your lemons, and you want to actually make the syrup in advance as well, or first. I have certainly made the syrup the night before, and then when I constructed the pudding, I just would pour it in cold, and that works as well. All right, so I'm going to pop this on the lower burner. Actually, I'm going to add this business first. So in goes the apple cider, lemon juice, and I forgot this part, 4 tablespoons of butter. I think I'm going to, yeah, why not knock it in at the same time. So we'll bring this up until thick and bubbly over medium heat. Give it a stir. Make sure you get all of the goodies off the bottom of the pan as well. But this syrup comes together really, really nice and thick. With cornstarch, yeah, you certainly want to give it a good whisk. So once this comes to the thickness that you want, you're going to reduce the heat to low, and then stir for an additional 2 minutes, and then remove it from the heat and set aside. That'll take just a moment. a smoker there. Okay. Because of limited space, I am kind of taking some prep steps now. Gosh, I wonder what I had under that burner. Burn off here soon. I actually do not have a functioning hood vent, and so I might crack a window open to get that smoke out. Hopefully we don't have a stovetop fire. Even if we do, I do know how to take care of that after many years being in a kitchen. Okay, so let's get going with this French toast. In the past, I have used French bread. But this time around, well, I actually really wanted a lovely brioche, a loaf that I could cut into thick pieces and then cube into 1-inch squares. But I got to the store late in the game and most of the fresh bread loaves were gone. And so I opted for the Texas toast, which will do just fine, and I could cut those up easily, so I'll get to that in a moment. And I'm going to bring out the milk, get it to temp here. This recipe is my invention. Certainly, people have their Christmas traditions, and when my daughter was born, I kind of just worked with a little bit of recipes that I'd seen, you know, with just bread puddings, and I kind of just mishmash things a little bit to accommodate our flavors, and pretty pleased with what's come out. 2 years ago, that was the first time that I actually did prepare this, and it turned out really well, except I did go with French bread, and can't say that went so well because what was on top, like the crust, you know, it's a beautiful crust, delicious bread, but the crust was just a little too chewy for my liking. Okay, 4, 5, 6. So we're just going to actually go half and half with the bread. First step, you want to go ahead and cut 12 inches of bread up into cubes. I'm trying to remember if I butter it. I do. I need to butter that casserole dish. It has been a harried kind of day, and so I'm still moving even after I film this video. I have 3 more things that I need to do before I pick up my daughter. So please forgive me if I'm a little bumbly. Just have a lot on my mind and a lot of things going on at once. This is a trick that I figured out late in the game for buttering a casserole dish. Just makes it kind of convenient. I just use a coffee filter with some softened butter. Get it all over. It still gets on your hands, but not quite the same as you would if you just used your hands to butter the dish. I've been going at such a full tilt today, I just realized I still have my hat on. Or my woolly That's what they call them here in the Northwest. My wool beanie cap. Okay. Give this business a stir. And I'm going to leave the crusts on because one does require a little bit of body for these cubes, especially for as long as I'm going to have them soaking once this is prepared. Again, this is an overnight strata meaning layers, and so I'm really curious to see how it turns out, but my goal is to just have a nice soft bite. On Christmas Day, before my kiddo wakes up, I will take this out of the fridge for about a half hour before I want to pop it in the oven. You know, it's about the time where I'd be preheating the oven and have a cup of tea. And then you pop it in, and the wildness of opening presents happens, and somewhere in the middle we'll hear the ding, and about the time where we're ready to nibble, we have something beautiful to look forward to. I'm going to serve this with bacon this year. That just sounded good. Something magical about the combination of pork and apples. It is one of my favorite combinations. I took it upon myself this Christmas season to introduce my kiddo properly to some classic Christmas movies. And what was it? We watched Miracle on 34th Street, the old school, well, these are all old school movies, but we watched that the other night. And The Christmas Story, that's always a favorite. Apparently they have a sequel to that, and I did watch that. I got about halfway through, and I don't know, it was just a little bit different. Nothing beats the classic, in my opinion. There's crumbs in there too. All right. Let's see, what else with the Christmas movies? Well, gosh, I did watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is one of my favorite movies, but I think that's a little bit more relevant to Thanksgiving. I have to get some adult movies in between all the Disney movies that my kiddo loves. But that is a hilarious show. If you have not seen that, can't ever go wrong with John Candy and Steve Martin for that matter. Okay, so bread's in. Now we're going to put in 8 ounces of chilled cream cheese. We're going to cube this up. Just kind of spot it throughout the bread here. And that just adds just a beautiful little sweet, soft, sweet texture. When you bite into this pudding, and I have no idea if this could be even considered a traditional pudding, certainly by English standards, but that's what I like to call it. Dun, dun, dun. I also did show my daughter the Nutcracker. And what else? Mickey's Christmas Carol. That's a good one. The old one from, I think it was 1983 was the one I grew up on. It's pretty amazing how much mileage they get on making sequels. Well, these certainly aren't the prettiest of cubes, but it matters not. It's going to be delish. I did just get this at the store, and so I think I just didn't let it really chill maybe as long as it needed to. It's gonna be a big and again, this is only half of the bread that will be used in this dish, so hence the strata, the layers. Okay, let's see, next up. Oh, can't forget this. Want a little dash of salt. I don't think that would make much of a difference, but you definitely want that. And I didn't do this last, or a couple years ago, but I'm going to put in a little dash of cinnamon sugar on top just to give it a little extra sweet. Can't help but doing that. I am an American. We like our sugar. Okay, eggs. Here we go. We have 8 beaten eggs going into this business. I got confirmation that my new cutting boards are going to be arriving soon. So I'm stoked about that. You want 8 eggs. They'll certainly be a lot easier to handle if you just take the chill off, take them out of the fridge about a half hour before you want to start constructing this. Ooh, did I get a shell? Oh, a big shell there. My kiddo is away today. She is decorating Christmas cookies with some friends. Hopefully getting some good wiggles out. Tomorrow we have a lovely day together. And I am going back and forth and deciding whether or not we should open Christmas presents on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I do like the idea of her waking up to that surprise. In the morning, but the question is cooperating with bedtime to make sure that she gets to bed at a reasonable time. Where did I put my tea? There we are. I know I say this all the time, but I'm using my silicone covered whisk because I do not want to scratch my mixing bowls. It is a great tool to have in the kitchen. Never before have I had one, and this came with a pack of knives that I had purchased. So it was kind of a cool little find when you're using nonstick cookware or porcelain, ceramic, that type of thing. Okay. Now I said this was an overnight dish, but you could certainly bake it off immediately. If you are going to bake it off, it's going to cook uncovered at 325 for about 40 minutes. It's going to puff up and the edges are going to get kind of golden. That's how you know where you're where you want to be. Okay. We have 2 cups of milk going in. We woke up to a beautiful blue sky and actually a warm morning this morning. And so far it has not rained yet, but I am watching, well, we're starting to get a bit of a breeze and the sky is darkening up. I know we're bearing in on sunset here soon, but I just kind of hope that the rain stays away for a little bit. At least get a break in the rain. I can't complain though. Certainly it has been a very mild weather so far. Well, especially this winter. Winter just began. Okay. Also going in, we have 6 tablespoons of butter. But before we do that, I'm going to actually have to wait for a moment so I can finish my syrup, because this actually goes in to the recipe. We're just about there. Oh gosh, I wish you could smell that beautiful fragrance. Buttered apples. That's what it smells like in here right now. Well, I guess I would say prepare the syrup in advance so it is cold when you put it into this dish, because it's going to kind of go in hot, and I'm thinking I probably will need to temper the eggs a little bit and do some little mix up before adding it to the eggs, because the hot will make the eggs curdle, or scramble rather. But I am pleased to say that the butter is cool. We have 6 tablespoons of butter going in there. Oh, and the nice thing too with this recipe, it just evens, it just operates in such an even kind of way when it comes to ingredients. The butter required for the syrup complements the amount of butter that goes into this strata to make 1 cup total. So it's kind of nice for portioning of ingredients. And you only need, for this recipe, you only need a 1/4 cup of the apple cider syrup. So the rest we will drizzle, warm up, and then drizzle on top tomorrow morning. That would just be wonderful. Wow. Yeah, last time I made this, I had a huge kitchen, and it was certainly nice to spread out. But on the same hand, I am actually kind of glad that I don't have to clean a huge kitchen anymore. It just encourages me to work smarter. So this is going to be bread cubes for the top layer. Yeah. Oh, I also had my hand hovering over a sourdough loaf, thinking that might be kind of yummy. Sure, that flavor would be amazing. But at the same time, I was looking for the brioche. So we'll see what next year brings. This is definitely, after all, my Christmas cooking tradition. Christmas breakfast, so I can mix and match and be doing this for many years to come. Yeah, and last time I made this, my kiddo was just small enough to, not eat a whole lot of it. I doubt she will remember this, but she has definitely gotten to the age where I think she will be more appreciative of it and probably really like the flavor. Pretty music today. Can't go wrong with NPR, especially during the holidays. Oh, hello, folks. Oh, quite a few. I'm so sorry. Pardon me. Hello, Shanti. Looks like chat. Oh, warm and heartfelt greeting to you too. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful message. Thank you. That just made my heart smile. I hope your day is filled with happiness, kindness, and countless little moments of joy. It's such a pleasure to connect with you. Thank you. Gosh, that just made my day. Shanti, I hope you have a very merry and joyful Christmas. Oh gosh, thank you. You as well. And then Roberts. 9. I'm not really sure. Oop, and I'm not really sure. Oh, there we are. Hello. Number blocks. Good to meet y'all. Thank you for joining me. Okay. Oh, where are we looking here? Oh, we're getting nice and thick. Yeah. Not quite where I want just yet. I do want it a little bubbly. Oh, there it is. As I say bubble, there it goes. Excuse me. So we're going to reduce the heat to low now and go for 2 minutes. I'm going to time myself here to keep myself honest. Just stir constantly. I must say as well, this is the first Christmas in years that has just felt particularly Christmassy. You know, I went out to the stores earlier this morning to pick up just little random things and kind of did this Tetris thing to make it through the crowds because people were out in full force. And oh, you could certainly feel that holiday stress rolling off people. You saw their big lists, you know, the husbands and wives were shopping together, and sometimes it looks like it goes well, sometimes not. But, you know, people have their cars dressed as antlers or dressed as reindeer with Rudolph with the red nose on the front. I did have that, but someone broke one of my antlers, so I dropped the car costume. But yeah, people have wreaths hanging everywhere. There are more lights than I remember, and I've lived in this area for 13 years, 14 years. And there's just a real festive feeling about. In fact, as I walked past City Hall, 2 days ago, it looked like, 3 days ago, it looked like the high school, some high school students, they were circled around City Hall, and the mayor and a group of office folk were out there enjoying that. This is the kind of town where I met the mayor many times. He's very, very involved in our community. In fact, I just saw him on Sunday. It was a fun treat. When my daughter was really young, we went to it was a block festival in downtown, and everyone was, occupying these booths handing out candy, and my daughter reached out for some candy, and I recognized the mayor, and when I left, I told her, you just met the mayor of your town, of Enumclaw, and she got the biggest kick with her little teeny young voice. I think she was just barely over 2. Everyone who would listen, she'd tell them, oh, I met the mayor. I met the mayor. And I come from a pretty big city. Well, not big, but big by desert standards. And certainly never did see the mayor or anything like that. So I think it's kind of special that can happen so easily here. Okay, so to temper, we're just going to add a little bit of the egg. Beat it a little bit more. And what this does is it just mellows out the temperature of the boiling. A little bit more. Cools it down to a point where you can whisk it in the batter in it. Won't scramble the eggs. I should have let the milk come to room temp a little longer, maybe even warmed it up a bit, because I can't see the impact it had on the butter. Chilled the butter. Or re-solidified the butter. Okay. Okay. So, without further ado, I'm going to pour this business in. I'm going to do that over the burner, otherwise I'll get a smoker like I did while making the syrup. We're just going to pour this over the top. And just a hint of flavor. I must say as well, the holiday generosity in our town is next to nothing. Absolutely special. We really do live in an amazing community, and I can't say I saw maybe 2 bell ringers for the Salvation Army this year, but I can say I've seen at least a dozen organizations, groups that were gathered by their cars collecting gifts. The backs of cars open, the hatches open with signs, collecting gifts at grocery stores and collecting food. We just have a very generous community. I am grateful every day for that. Okay, a little bit of more salt. And why not? Let's add a little bit more cinnamon sugar. I think that's going to be the clincher for my kiddo. I think she will quite love that. And then you want to press it. COVID changed so much. Of course, on the national or the international scale and the national, but it was, for me, I just really felt it most keenly at home in our community. And I know that those were incredibly difficult and sad and confusing and scary. All of the emotion times for just about everyone. And I saw the shockwave that it sent through our community as well as our home. And it really feels this year like people have turned a new leaf and are coming back together. Things will never be the way they were before COVID. Never. But we have recovered. And certainly it is still around. I had 2 friends actually recently who reported that they had COVID. And the wild thing about that is too, they live in the desert. And, you know, that was something that just defied everything anybody ever knew. Has happened before in our human history, and it will sadly happen again. Okay, so there it is, our Christmas pudding. So I'm just going to cover this, refrigerate, and then I'm going to bake this off on Christmas morning. Again, you want to bring the dish out about a half hour before you want to pop it in the oven. You want to preheat your oven to 325, and you're going to cook it uncovered for about 40 minutes. So this will puff and the edges will get golden. You don't want to go beyond that. You take it out of the oven, you just let it cool and set and settle for a little bit. Then you can slice it up, and then top it with a little bit of the hot or cold remainder of the apple cider syrup. And I can't believe I found this. This is flavored whipped cream, salted caramel flavored whipped cream. My kid is going to flip her lid. I do something with our hot chocolate. I add caramel flavor to our hot chocolate, and she loves it, so she's just going to be tickled pink. Figured that might add another lovely layer of flavor to this. So, all good things to come. Serve this business with some bacon or some sausage to complement the apples. But there we are. And thank you again for joining me for this cook or prep. I again wish you a wonderful Christmas and holiday season, an awesome New Year, and I'm not sure if I'll be making a video until after New Year. We'll have to see how things go in between activities. But I do wish you all the best. Cheers to your well-being, health, and happiness.